The last lantern at Red Mercy. The trench had a name once. No one used it anymore. Maps called it Red Mercy, though no mercy had ever taken root in its clay. It stretched like an infected wound across the blasted flats of the Outer Barrens. Miles of rotting timber, rusted wire, and sanctified bones driven into the canvas like nails into a coffin. The priest said the bones helped. The soldiers, they said nothing at all. Above the sky churned, permanently bruised, like something vast had been struck and never healed. And sometimes it whispered. Tonight, it was screaming. Sergeant James presses back into the trench wall as the earth trembled again. Report. His voice was steady. It had to be. Corporal Iris wiped soot and something darker from his face. Third line's gone, Sergeant. Not overrun, it's just gone. Like it folded in on itself. James nodded at once. In the lantern? Iris hesitated. It's still lit, sir. A lie. James could see it from here. The faint glow at the far end of the trench, flickering like a dying pulse. The last lantern. Blessed, they said. A relic pulled from the ruins of the first cathedrals. Its flame said to keep the horrors at bay. It had worked. Until it didn't. They had been 43 men when the order came down. Hold Red Mercy. No reinforcements. And no retreat. Hold. Now, there were only 9 of them. It moved against itself, carrying whispers that bent the ear and burrowed into the mind. Some men laughed. Others clawed at their helmets, trying to tear the voices out. And then, the wires started moving. Contact front, James said quietly. No one asked how he knew. They saw it a moment later. Shapes in the fog beyond the trench. Not silhouettes. And no bodies. Just wrongs. Wrongs to the humankind. They played tricks on the eyes. Things that bent where they shouldn't. That dragged themselves across the ground with way too many limbs. Or not enough. Some walked upright, but folded in the middle like broken dolls. Others crawled with fingers that dug too deep into the earth, pulling themselves forward like they were swimming through reality itself. The wire didn't stop them. It fed them. Barbs sank into flesh that wasn't flesh, and the creatures only grew, swelling, stretching, absorbing the metal with wet, eager sounds. Fire! James ordered. The trench erupted. Rifles cracked, muzzle flashes strobing the nightmares into fragments. Bullets tore into the creatures, ripping chunks away, scattering blackened matter across the mud. This didn't slow him down. One of them surged forward, a tall, thin thing that unfolded upward like a banner in reverse. Its head split open lengthwise, revealing rows of teeth that extended down to its torso. Wilson screamed as it reached the trench. James shot it 3 times in the face. It smiled. The fighting, it was way too close. Bayonets snapped, rifles jammed. Men screamed until their voices tore. Iris tackled one of the creatures as it climbed over their canvas, driving its blade into what passed for its chest. It burst, not like flesh, but like a sack of wet ash, and something inside it laughed as it died. "Back!" James shouted. They fell to the second line. 3 more gone. No one asked who. The lantern flickered harder now. Its light, it was wrong. Too bright in some places, too dim in others, casting shadows that didn't match the bodies that made them. Varn stared at it. "My God, it's not keeping them out anymore," he said. "It never did," James replied. Van turned slowly. What? What do you mean?" James didn't answer. They had found the truth 2 days ago. Buried beneath the trench, beneath the bones, in the sanctified earth, there had been something else. A chamber. Old. Older than the war. Older than the faith that claimed it. Inside, they found the base of the lantern. Not a relic. A lock. And the flame? A warning. "Sergeant," Iris said, voice low. They're regrouping." James peered over the edge. The creatures had stopped advancing. They were gathering. Not randomly. They were forming. A mass of bodies knitting together into something larger. Something deliberate. Limbs fused. Faces merged. Mouths opened in unison, stretching into a single, vast grin. And at its center, a shape that almost looked human. Almost. "It learned," James said. "Learned what?" Wilson asked, trembling. "It learned how to be us." The thing took a step forward. The ground shuddered. "Final positions," James ordered. No one argued. They took their places around the lantern. 8 men. 1 dying light. The creature spoke. Not with a mouth. With all of them. "Why do you hold?" The voices overlapped. Hundreds. Thousands. Some familiar. Wilson froze. Hey, that's Brenner's voice." "Don't listen," Iris snapped. "We can end it." The mass shifted, forming shapes, faces they recognized, friends, brothers, men who'd died in this very trench. "Lay down your weapons." Varn dropped his rifle. "Varn!" James started. I can't," Varn whispered. I can't do this anymore." Something moved behind him. It was too fast. A hand, long, wrong, too many joints, rose from its own shadow and pulled him down into the mud. He didn't even have time to scream. 7, The lantern sputtered. The light dimmed. The trench walls, they began to breathe. "Sergeant," Iris said, voice breaking for the first time. What if holding isn't the mission?" James looked at the lantern, at the faint, flickering flame, at the thing beyond the trench that was learning how to wait. He understood it then, but it was too late. "It's not," he said. The ground beneath them cracked. A sound like a cathedral collapsing echoed from below. The chamber, the lock, it was breaking. "Fix bayonets," James said. 6 men obeyed. They formed a line, not because it would save them, but because it was the last thing they had left. It was order. The creature advanced. The trench folded inward. The sky split open, and the lantern, it went out. Darkness swallowed Red Mercy. Their screams, they didn't last long. Days later, though no one marked them anymore, a patrol from the rear lines arrived at the position. They found no trench, no bodies, and no wire. Just a smooth expanse of untouched earth. And at its center stood a single lantern, burning, steady, and waiting. And beneath it, something moved.